But, what's the name of your company?
It's Cardinal Bakes.
Cardinal Bakes. So go ahead. What you'll be baking today?
We're doing a double batch of chocolate chip cookies. We're not baking today, but we're doing the batter and we're baking later. But colder dough does help set and it helps the cookies.
Okay, that's awesome. And that's the only thing, that's chocolate chips cookie, no other type of cookie?
For today right now, that's what we're doing.
Okay, and could you give me a step by step on what you'll be doing?
Yes, 1 second. I'm just taking the wrapping out. So we're doing a double batch recipe. So we're doing 2 cups of butter. This is unsalted butter. You can use salted butter if you want, but the batter calls for salt. So we're going to cream together butter and sugar first.
So when you put in the butter, what else are you going to put in it now to mix?
We're going to cream sugar and butter together.
Okay.
Then you'll add your vanilla. I can post the recipe.
Okay, you can do that at the end.
And eggs. And
So is there a special, I see you have brown sugar there. Is the brown sugar a special type of sugar or?
when you make chocolate chip cookies, you usually use 2 different kinds of sugar. You use brown sugar
Yes.
and you use white sugar.
So what's the reason for the brown sugar?
I'm an educator.
No.
I'm making.
Yeah, but what does the brown sugar do to the
Rand, it tastes yummy. Why you like I'm supposed to educate you? Rand.
Okay. I'm just asking because two
No,
different
I
types of
mean
sugar.
the brown sugar gives a depth of flavor because I mean it's not like natural brown sugar that you get from like guana or the Virgin Islands or you know what I mean it's a molasses and sugar mix here.
Okay.
That's how the brown sugar is here.
Okay.
That's why it like kind of I don't know just has a.
Rough. Okay.
It's not rough.
Okay.
You know how brown sugar when you get it from. They have different brands that come from like guana.
Yeah, some that's more
and
crystallized.
it's crystallized. It's not like soft and conforms. So I use gloves when I do butter. You can use the wrapping to spread it on your cake pans if you're gonna bake later that day, or if you're doing cookie pans. But on cookie trays, I use parchment paper because when I was growing up, we used spray butter, and it leaves this film on your pans, and it's hard to scrub off. And if you use parchment paper, you might have a little bit of oil residue from the cookie and the natural oils, but it doesn't leave this film that kind of bakes onto your pans.
Okay.
So I always have a clean or a trash bowl, so I'm just going to toss it into my trash bowl. So after you do your butter, you're going to cream sugar into this as well. Once that, and you're going to cream it until it gets fluffy. So I've already pre-measured my sugars, both of them are in the same bowl.
Okay.
I'm not used to doing a double batch, so it looks like a lot of sugar and a lot. But it should make up to 5 or 6 dozen cookies. So I have a KitchenAid mixer.
Okay.
A stand mixer. So you're gonna mix it on low.
Yes.
And the butter should always be softened. When I know I'm gonna bake the next day, I will either put it out like the night before when I go to bed, or the afternoon before, depending on what my my schedule is.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like you should be moving to the camera so you can see what it looks in here. Okay, so once it's creamed the sugar and the butter together, alright, and it's going to look like this. Can you see it? So when you stop it, it's going to look like that.
Okay, awesome.
Alright, so we're gonna do 1 egg at a time. I'm gonna let it fully incorporate 1 egg. And then I'll add the next. It's 4 eggs because it's a dough recipe. So I'm gonna add the first one in. Mix. See, that's what I want more, yeah. I don't crack them on the side of here because if you break the shell off, a lot of people, I just crack with one hand. I just got used to it.
Very professional of you.
Is it?
Oh, yes. If it was me, I would have to.
Oh, do the 2-hand?
Yes, with a spoon.
I started doing the 2-hand. You just kind of find your rhythm when you're cooking of if you do it enough. Because I cook all day long. Think of it. I cook at work. I come home. I cook or I bake.
Okay.
So I'm constantly touching, inspecting, quality assurance, food all the time.
Okay.
Alright, so let me get my last egg in here.
So sums it up, you're a professional in the food business. Awesome.
Alright, so the only thing that's going to be room temperature besides your dry ingredients are really your butter. Eggs, you're going to leave them just, you know, how they come out. Alright,
so let me see again.
Alright, so this is...
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a mix.
And then I'm going to add the vanilla. I add extra vanilla. You can never have enough vanilla. And it's not a recipe that needs it to be white, so it's just regular
Awesome.
vanilla. And we're going to let that mix. I also, when I do the chocolate chips, I'm doing mini semi-sweet and regular size semi-sweet. Kind of gives it a different contrast.
Okay.
And you can add nuts to it if you want, but I don't do too much nuts. These are going to be for holiday work, so I'm not doing any nuts because one of my bartender managers, she is allergic to nuts. So everything that I've used has been clean, sterilized. We don't really eat that many nuts as well. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. I understand.
Oh, make a noise. Alright, so once that combines together, the eggs, the sugar, you're going to start doing your flour. You can get a flour guard. I have one. I'm just going to add a little bit, let it incorporate. Add a little bit and let it incorporate. So to my flour, I've already added all of my baking powder, baking soda. I do use a secret ingredient a lot of people don't think of or use, and it makes it to where the chocolate chip cookies don't spread out as much. Sometimes, depending on your elevation, your weather, if you don't like measure out properly, you measure out like wet ingredients go in, they don't go in measuring cups, they go into liquid measuring cups. So if you don't measure out correctly, sometimes it affects how the cookies rise or spread out. So I add cream and tartar. It's a really good. I've tried it in about 3 or 4 different recipes that don't call for it. So let's add the dry ingredients. Yep, see them pop up a little bit. I also don't mix the chocolate chips in the stand-up mixer. I do it by hand. It's a little bit of arm work, but it doesn't crush the chocolate chips. And I know, like, a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't crush them, but it does too.
Okay.
Mixing, you just have to make sure, like, I'll stop it a little bit because I'm going to scrape down the sides to make sure that the flour, see how there's like a little ring of flour at the top?
Yeah.
It's just from it, like, spinning upwards. So you got to scrape it off. And then I push the batter down and I'll add the rest of the ingredients. This mixer is older than me. Oh, for real. My father bought it for my grandmother. in the 70s. This mixer is older than me.
Oh, awesome. And still working as
Oh yeah, yeah, it's good. I mean, we take good care of it. You'll probably use a little polish or something.
Oh.
It's okay, I polish it after we do all this holiday baking. It's been a while since I've made this much stuff. It's a good opportunity to put some stuff. Alright, so you can kind of hear the mixer working a little harder, but it's just because there's so much. And it's not hurting the mixer. So I'm going to push all this stuff down.
So you're not going to put any like a liquid or like...
There's no liquid for chocolate chip besides the vanilla. Now your oil, your liquid, you're not going to use oil for chocolate chip. Use butter. A lot of baking is butter. I mean, it really depends on which recipe though.
So you don't put no almond extract or any of that?
I put vanilla extract. Right?
Just vanilla alone, that's it.
I don't have almond right now, but it's a very strong flavor.
Okay.
It is a very, very strong flavor. So there's only like the snickerdoodles you could add it to if you wanted to. Different types of cookies, but it's not going to be in chocolate chip cookies. You have to be careful with almond. It's not like vanilla where you can add a good amount. Yep. Let's pop it up a little bit. So once I'm done with this, like adding the dry ingredients, I'll do the sides again and make sure everything's mixed in properly. And then I'm going to put it in a container, and then I'll mix in the chocolate chips. And then I'm going to, I will let it cool in the fridge.
Okay.
But it's going to be in a, airtight container, and it'll be. When I was little, we would make every holiday, and that's what we would, that's how I learned to bake when I was little. We didn't really have much money growing up, so we didn't have money to give, a lot of family presents, so that's what we did. And then it ended up being this big thing, we would get these containers, which I have containers this year, and every aunt and uncle, their family, they would get these containers full of cookies, and it wasn't how you get some that they mix all the cookies together, and then they end up tasting all the strongest flavor of cookie. It wasn't like that. Put them in individual bags, label the bags, put it in the container so they don't get stale. They stay tasting fresh, from the not getting stale. They taste like if it was a chocolate chip, it was a chocolate chip. If it was a peanut butter, it was a peanut butter. So, we only got a little bit of flour to go. You can hear the mixer working. So good, you're still young at heart. She's still young at heart. Holiday we didn't bake because you're always baking or cooking.
That's what we do most of our days. Family get together.
Well, for me, when I was little, yeah, obviously you eat, but it was like a learning experience because when I would go to my dad's mom's, I was helping cook. I was helping bake. When I went to my mom's same thing. I would help cook or bake. Not as much bake there, but it was a lot of learning how to cook different things because my grandmother was Cuban, so it was different dishes. It was a lot different food than most, I guess, American people, you would say. Alright, so this is done mixing together. I'm going to push down the sides to make sure all the flour is incorporated. Are you looking at this like you want to eat it?
Oh, look tasty.
I mean, cookie dough's good, but I don't suggest eating it raw like this because there's egg, and then a lot of people don't look at this flour. You can get E. coli from raw flour because it's not cooked yet. So
It's good to wait until it bake.
well, there are recipes for cookie dough that you can eat that don't have eggs in it. Alright, so
So what you're gonna do? You're gonna use that.
I'm pushing down the sides, like I said.
You're gonna mix it. You're gonna mix it again.
No, it's still mixing. You don't want to overwork it. Could you hand me? It's right here. I'm going to add all this in here, and then I'm going to mix the chocolate chip because this will make about 6 or 7 dozen cookies.
Okay. 6. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a
So there you go. She's gonna put it so it can raise by itself.
Is that raisin? There's no yeast.
So it's not gonna.
Is that going to raise? No, we're going to chill it.
Oh, chill it. So what it does when you chill it? What does it do for it?
I mean, a lot of times when you put cookies in the oven and then the batter's hot, they spread out further.
Oh, okay.
But when you're going to bake on one specific day, I just like to plan ahead and get all my batters. It's easier to do your batters ahead of time, like a couple days ahead of time, before you bake.
Okay.
If I was to do 8 cookie recipes in one day, it would take all day. If I start baking a day, like start doing my mixes a day or two before.
Okay.
I have bigger cookie sheets, not just like you can put 12 cookies on, you can put 24 at a time, so I can cook about 48 cookies in 10 minutes, depending on your recipe.
Okay.
So it doesn't take as long now. Last year when, after the holidays, they had a lot of baking stuff on sale. Alright, so I'm just scraping the batter off the sides, getting every last morsel. Every last morsel. Alright, so it was all incorporated. There wasn't any like chunks of flour or anything like that. But that's why some recipes are staged like you always cream the butter. You add this here. You don't start with flour and then add your butter. So I'm doing 2 bags of chocolate chips. I'm doing mini chocolate chips. Oh, look, those are cute. I haven't used those in a while. They have the big ones. The big ones are sizes of quarters. And I'm doing regular size chocolate chips. Put this in my trash thing. Oh, why is that so close? Right. And we're just going to mix it.
So when you do that now, like when you're going to put it in the oven, like when are you going to bake it?
I'm doing baking, today's Monday, most likely Wednesday.
Okay.
I might do some things tomorrow morning that are just like breads that you can get out of the way pretty easily. A cookie is like, when you do cookies, you have to like, it's like every 10 minutes you're up. Or you're, between that, you're waiting to cool, you're scooping out mix onto things. So it's a continuous thing where you are staying in the kitchen, you are watching the oven at all times. It's not like when I bake, I'm doing a carrot cake loaf.
Okay.
It's like a banana bread, but with carrots. It's like a carrot cake bread. And I'm doing a blueberry bread as well. You can mix that, clean up, have everything in the oven, and it takes about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And then you can go do like laundry or whatever else you're working on. But for cookies, you can do stuff in between, but you're constantly like taking them out of the oven, letting them cool for a couple of minutes, moving them to a cool rack, moving those over to a container, scooping more cookie dough. So, alright, so this is pretty much incorporated right here. Oh, I found a pocket of chocolate chips. There we go. Alright, so just gonna scrape this off to the side. So that is chocolate chip cookies. Cookie dough.
Oh, that's awesome. Beautiful.
So,
look tasty.
I mean, it smells really good. It will be tasty. And everybody will like them. I do change up sometimes when I cook them. I will, after they're cooled and everything, I'll melt chocolate and then dip them halfway in chocolate. You can add like Christmas sprinkles to them to make them decorative onto the melted chocolate or nuts or whatever. But that's it for getting your batter ready for chocolate chip cookies. We'll post the recipe.
Awesome. Thanks again. Action.
Alright, I am pulling out the chocolate chip cookies. Final ones. Woo. I have the bigger pan. We were able to put 20 cookies on a sheet. And then the last 3 had to fit on a sheet. Alright, so I am all done with those chocolate chip cookies. They smell divine. I bet they taste even better.
Yum, 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 yum. Okay, so.
Alright, don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can find us on Instagram on Cardinal Bakes 2020. We'll see you guys soon. Have fun baking.
And also comment and.
I put everything.
Okay. Alright, thanks.
Man, I put everything that we're supposed to be talking about. I can edit that.